Sylvia Mulama is an entrepreneur, a gender advocate, and a mentor to young people who holds an MBA in International Business Strategies awarded by Linnaeus University in Sweden.
My name is Sylvia Mulama. I'm an entrepreneur. I also mentor young people, and I'm also into politics and working with different projects in our community in Westlands.
She shares with us her life story and how it helped in shaping the woman she's become.
Well, apparently I was born in Nairobi because it sounds posh, but I grew up in Bungoma, and we are from Mumias, an area called Mumias. I grew up in Bungoma, went to school in Bungoma, primary and high school, and came to Nairobi for college, as it were, for everyone else. And then my career path started their own. And Bungoma has now been in Rearview for quite a few years now. Yeah, but I still consider it one of the places that was home to me. Yeah.
Exposed early to different cultures, nationalities, and tribes, Sylvia says this played a very big role in her career.
Bungoma is one of the most cosmopolitan towns in Kenya. You have virtually all the tribes living there, and I cannot put an explanation to it, perhaps because it's a border town, so you have a lot of people going to Uganda and coming back, perhaps. But it was very cosmopolitan. My deskmate was Asian for the longest I remember. My friends were Kikuyus. We had Luos, we had Kalenjins, we had Kisis, different tribes basically. And so we didn't know much. And then where my parents worked also was the sugar company, Zoya Sugar Company. And in the company we also had employees from all over the country and from abroad. So we were exposed quite early, or I would say I was exposed quite early in life on how to deal with different cultures, different nationalities, and different sets of groups of people. So that's something that we achieved when we were quite young. So you didn't have to struggle in your life, or rather myself, I didn't have to struggle as I grew older on how to interact and how to associate with people. It became very easy to grow, to get into Nairobi and find my own path and move on to further studies and find my own path in international countries. But also the journey that gave me a different sight was how we grew up in our house. It was a very humble home. My mom gave all she could. All the guests or other visitors or relatives or friends that came to live with us, we were all treated equal, including, the house manager. She was treated equal to us. We would all do the laundry at home, would all do the dishes, would all look after, my younger sibling. I would sometimes take him to school. So that was responsibility being nurtured at a very early stage. There wasn't the sort of life of silver spoon that, oh, my child cannot do this, she cannot do this. So that made me an all-rounded, human being. I know that I've become a compassionate person, that I've become a person that empathizes with other people, that I've become a person that there's no limit to what I can do because it's all achievable, because I was taught that at an early age. I know that, that with humility I can get to speak to anybody, even the president today. So those things have followed me, and they've given me this courage and confidence. And then you anchor it, with my spiritual life, which is prayer, that anything that is difficult, if I pray to God, yes, if it's mine, I'm gonna get it.
Her empathy for others has given her the motivation to give back to society in whatever way she can.
I am in fashion. I have a fashion company. We do clothes, bespoke. We design whatever the client wants. I also run an events company, which we host or run events on behalf of our clients, both corporate and private. And then at the same time, I'm also giving back to the community. I'm working with young people. There's a specific group that I'm working with, which is planning to train young people in IT. And this is a project run by a young team of young men called Kujia. So we are collaborating to see how we can be able to train at least 100 young people that are disadvantaged every month, just to give them a skill so that they can also get out there and be able to get into whatever careers they want to get into. I'm also passionate about young mothers because we had an example in the family where we had a young mother, and the young mother was my sister. And just watching her journey and how she walked the journey through until she became an adult and managed her own life has always made it interesting for me to stop and listen to another young mother, because they might be having challenges that cannot be sorted by the ordinary family or sometimes even friends. So I'm working with young people, young mothers, but right now is on the basis of advice, particularly the gender-based violence, how to get them out of there and find them safe haven, and also counseling. Then on the other hand, it's also about empowerment. What can they be able to do in order to become financially free so that they can be able to stand on their own feet and do their own thing in the society.
She's currently working with gender-based violence victims and mentoring young people in their career paths under a registered CBO group known as Kujia.
GBV is a silent killer. It's rampant in our society. It was exasperated by this COVID. For the past 2.5 years or so, we've been experiencing COVID. There's a lot of victims that have gone through so much. And it's something that needs to be addressed both from the government level and the society level, how we live. But most importantly is the attention it should be given. And I don't believe that we're giving it enough attention, because we don't even have enough safe havens for these people to go. We don't have enough hotline numbers where they can phone randomly, that is a free number to phone and get assistance on the other side. They also, if affected by the cultural effects, which is our own background in our nature of the African society. It is a stigma to talk about it. So most of the time the victims are silent. They don't mention it, they don't talk about it. Somebody has to prod to be able to get the information. So this is something that we really need to kind of look at it carefully. We do have laws governing around it, but they are not as stringent as they should be. Like, for instance, if you are abused today and you go to the police station, the most you're going to get is a P3. And then from there, they will tell you, just don't go back there. But where do you go if they tell you not to go back? And what happens to the victim, not what happens to the, the aggressor? The aggressor gets free, because nobody has barred the aggressor from coming near to where you are. So the aggressor is still at large and they're still able to get hold of you. And then there's also the psychological effect of it, where the aggressor abuses and pacifies. Abuses and pacifies. So it's a continuous process, and in the end, you get radical situations where somebody loses their lives. And so it's something that actually needs to be looked into with all the stakeholders involved, and put together one good bill that will stop the aggressor from even accessing the victim. And not just that, the perimeters well pronounced and it well monitored and instituted, because the problem is the effecting of our laws. Because when the child, for instance, is violated in whatever form, could it be just being abused or sexually abused, the child will perhaps tell the mother. And depending with the community or the house or the mother how she feels, the mother might not want to raise it. I'll tell you an example. Mm-hmm. There is a case where a lady met a new husband, mm-hmm. or a new boyfriend, and she was living with him, and she moved in with her 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. And this 5-year-old was being sexually abused. And she didn't tell, I think she must have told the mother, but the mother told her no. So, 5-year-old girl. So the friend could sometimes leave the child with another friend who happened to be, a close friend. And they also had a practice. So what did they do? The one time they had to ask the child, why are you fidgeting? What's wrong with you? And the child said, well, it's because of ABCD that's happening at home. And when they checked because they are doctors, when they checked the baby was actually damaged. And when they called the lady to face and ask her, she said, no, it can't be him. So now she was forced to let the child go back to her parents, and she continued to live with her boyfriend. I just want to be graphic about it because people don't tell the exact things that happen, but they're happening in this Kenya, they're happening in this Nairobi right here, even as we speak. One child is being abused somewhere. And why does this happen? It's because of the poverty in the society. Poverty dehumanizes. When a mother has a child and they have to go out and look, they're left vulnerable because they don't have anybody to look after the child. So they will trust a neighbor or any other adult that is in the house. The adult that is left in the house is the adult that is actually molesting the child. And so because of the relationship between the adult and the aggressor, they might not bring it out. So the child suffers quietly for the rest of her life until she becomes an adult to be able to express herself. But then, at the time, the psychological impact is huge. Yes. So it's things that are happening every day. Like I mentioned before, we have a fashion line, and I love good clothes and all that. But what I looked at is benchmarking on the Western world, where they have, fashion thrives. They buy clothes every day. So because it was not very cheap to make these clothes within the countries, they now outsourced, particularly in India, Bangladesh. Some are coming from Vietnam, some are coming from Thailand. So if you outsource, it means that you will provide job opportunities for the women in that specific country you're going to. And so I feel Kenya now has the able infrastructure to be able to go into the market as one of the groups that are offering outsourcing opportunities. And we can have people come to us to buy the clothes. So what I'm saying is that why not set up a group of women, which I'm in the process. We set up a group of women, we train them in this tailoring. They learn how to make seams, how to sew, and how to finish the clothes and how to cut. Then we'll develop this into an enterprise so that it's a profitable enterprise. Being a young, courageous girl, taking off and leaving the country and going to the unknown and making something of myself in the foreign countries and becoming recognized there and becoming a productive member of the society. Basically, it's my ability to have been able to move on to Europe, work, get educated. I studied my undergrad and master's degree in Europe, and then having worked with international organizations that recognized my ability to deliver and perform. And the highlight of it is that gaining all that experience and thinking that now it's time to go back to Kenya and offer these services back to my community. People have impacted my life positively. And what better than to also give back positively so that another young person can get the opportunities that I got because somebody cared. So I also want to care. And I know if I care, that young person will care for somebody else. And life is a cycle. If we have 10 people caring for others, that's impacting 20 people. That 20 people is impacting 100. So it's how we look at things and how we look and how we assess our lives. There's many obstacles in the way. Tell me about it. It starts from just, the orderliness of where you are working from, the space you're working from, the different impediments you have to go over before you now achieve what you're looking towards. And some of these challenges could be financial, could be structural, could be judicial. So they come in a different package, like let's say you start the process, like now you want to set up a CBO, then you're told, oh no, you can't do it, you need A, B, C, D. And at that time you're ready to do it. So that sets you back. So something that you plan to do within a year, you're set back. There's also the challenges of, like this COVID. COVID put a lot on hold. Most people have explained it. There's no need to explain anymore because we all know it gave everybody a challenge. So what do? We get up, dust ourselves and move further and move ahead.
Sylvia is also an active politician, vying for the parliamentary seat in Westlands, where she vows to improve people's lives through good service delivery.
Well, you are now looking at a future leader in Kenya. That's what I want to say. That's what I said, that my journey has just started. That's how I feel. They say it starts at 40. Well, I'm past that, but yeah, we'll swallow that. So, I feel that I've just stepped away from the comfort zone and I've gone to the other terrain, which is very hard to navigate, is mostly male-dominated, and it has its ups and downs, but I'm willing to brace myself. I'm willing to trade the murky waters, and I know that I will swim above the waters. I've joined politics. I'm running for the seat of a Member of Parliament for Westlands constituency. I'm racing against men, but I believe that I will make the first women Member of Parliament for Westlands constituency. And from there on, I can build on. If I do right by my community, if I serve them as it's required of me, definitely the sky is the limit for me in this country.
Her advice to women is to diligently air out their views in order to be heard.
I just want to encourage my fellow women, particularly those in the corporate world, those who feel like our country is not being run right, there's rife corruption, those who feel like, our community could be better, our living standards could be better. Please step up with your voice. If you know you can contribute to this government, move over to public service. Let's not vilify public service. Let's not make politics dirty. It's been a dirty game for long, but some of us are getting in to clean it up. Because we come in clean, we would like to live clean. If we have 30 people joining in clean, imagine what a wonderful Kenya we will start building. For the young people, you have a goal. Everybody has a goal in life. Do not let your life be wasted away. Shun away from drugs. If there's any help you need, please look for the help. I know sometimes it's easy to say look for the help and it's not forthcoming. But one way or the other, be determined to need to have that help and it shall come to you. Yes, our society is fragmented, but you can't find a way where you channel your own path and say, I'll stay on my path. Stay away from drug abuse. Find a community that can help you wherever you are in Kenya. But most importantly, if you can find me or Kujia group, join us and we'll find the best way to support you as a young person. Just look for Kujia. There's a website, or go to my website, sylviamulama.com. Send me a message and we'll definitely respond and pick it up. Social media sites, Sylvia Mulama, on all the social media sites. Kujia group is also on social media.